ちょっと待って、それちょっと反撃じゃねえ、なんて言うんだ。ちょっと言葉忘れた。反抗していい？対抗していい？
Welcome to the lazyfluency podcast, where we have casual conversations switching between English and Japanese, so that you can learn from and with us along the way. I'm Joey.
And I'm Yami.
And the topic of the day is how to learn Japanese with anime. Before we get into that, make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and drop a review on the platform you're listening on. We appreciate the support. And with that out of the way, how to learn Japanese with anime. This week, we finally uploaded a video that I've been working on for the last 3 months, which is about how to learn Japanese with anime, as well as can you even do it, and a deep dive into statistics, research studies, as well as a bunch of other questions and comments and my opinions on the topic. The video is 34 minutes long, and which is going to be shorter than we're going to be talking about in this section here. But there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to say that I didn't say, as well as comments that I guess I wanted to address and talk about, just generally speaking. So I kind of just want to jump in right ahead, and we will be talking about my opinions about what kind of learners would benefit the most from doing stuff I recommended in the video. But I'm wondering, you hadn't seen the I think the complete video before, or were you surprised by any of the findings or statistics or anything or the breakdown of the video, by the way?
なんか少年ジャンプのさ、アニメ漫画でも、常用漢字はすごい、なんていうの、網羅してるっていうか、もう大体同じじゃん。詳しいランキングなんかなんていうんだろう。ランキングっていうかな、順番は全然違うけど、でも、網羅してるってとこがやっぱすごいなと思った。
Yeah, there was also something that was interesting with in a later paper that talked about how even in the daily life anime, it basically uses JLPT or Joho kanji, Joyo kanji from all levels, from 1 through 5. Even like slice of life daily anime. And I obviously wasn't able to condense. I tried condensing stuff down, but all the papers I linked in the description, there was a lot more that they talked about there. But there was something, I guess I want to just go into some stuff that was brought up, which I won't be reading the full comments because I've just spent this whole time reading comments. But the first thing I kind of comment that I got in the video that I kind of respond to is the idea of maybe English or other learners using other mediums and having unnatural English or Japanese. This isn't something I personally experienced, but I think an example in the comment was talking about reality TV shows. Have you ever met someone who's learned English using reality TV shows, or they only watch one type of thing?
One type of thing っていうか、リアリティショーってあれでしょ、なんか、テラスハウスって知ってる？
Yeah, well, Terrace House is very different from American reality TV shows, but yes, yeah.
どこら辺が違うの？
The culture. So, from what I understand, is Japanese Terrace House, wholesome, yes, some drama, but it's fairly down to earth. American TV reality shows are like, you cheated on me with my sister, and then it turned out that not only did you cheat on me, my mom also cheated on me, and the person across the street also cheated on me, and then you stole my money, and then it's crazy.
それって何？それ本当にリアリティなの？それともそれなんて言うんだろう？
Well, fans, the more that you like it, the more you want to convince yourself it's actually real. I don't know where the line draws about what's real. It's probably well, how normally they're shot, they're real people, but the idea is a lot of people filming the shows will do a lot to incentivize people to act in certain ways. So they'll be like, hey, you should do this thing, or you should act in this way. But it's not scripted 100%. Does that make sense? So it's...
なんかさ、カーダシアン
Kardashian, yeah.
そう、カーダシアンズはさ、あれじゃん。あれはリアリティショーでしょ？
Yes.
ああいう感じなのか。テラスハウスはなんか、違う、なんて言うんだろう。テラスハウスはなんか、日々の、リアリティじゃなくて、恋愛限定みたいな。なんか一つの、なんて言うんだろう、大きい家に、男女何人か、4人とかかな。だから合計で8人とか 8から10人とかでなんか暮らして、そこで何かが生まれるとかバトルとかなんかそういう感じのやつで、それを使ってなんか日本語勉強してるっていう人はいた気がする。
I mean, I know it's really popular. I only know of it, but I actually haven't seen Terrace House. But I think the reason I think the comment I was responding to was saying that they met somebody who used Jake Paul as a learning resource. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who Jake Paul is.
ジェイク・ポー
He's
ルあ
a
れでしょ、
YouTuber.
日本来て問題を起こしたやからでしょ。
That's Logan Paul.
あれ
That's
ローガン・
Logan
ポール。
Paul.
あ、ジェイク・ポール、あれか。
Yeah.
どっちもボクシングやってるよね、確か。
I can't remember. Yeah, I think they're both doing it. But
弟の方か。
yeah, I
あ
don't
れ
know
は
who's
知
older.
っ
I
て
think
る。なんか
Jake's
チー
older.
ム10みたいなやつでしょ。
Yes. Yeah. Why do you know that?
そう私知ってんだよね。なんかそう。
But I guess the only point is
全然興味ない。
they're saying that they met somebody who was learning English using Jake Paul or Logan Paul, and they sounded weird. And I just really don't have any experience. And this is something I say in the video, that the only experience I have of people sounding weird speaking a language is just when they're beginners, or they're like really they're not interested in learning the language, but they have to use the language, so they might live in a community that only really speaks one language, but then they just have to in some situations use English. So like I've never met somebody who I'd consider like advanced learner who's speaking like explicitly like any of the resources. Although I do have some friends who they don't have they're not speaking. It's not like they're anime speaky. It's just that they're just really into anime more than, I don't know. They're really into anime, and so they'll like drop a bunch of memes and stuff.
例えばさ、なんて言うんだろう。
Well, it's a joke, but they're aware of the joke. So like when they're actually speaking Japanese, it doesn't sound like that. But if that makes sense.
ジョークだったら別にいいんじゃない？
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is like the first idea, which is like if you use a resource, you'll sound like an anime character. And I guess there's something that I didn't mention in the video, which is like if you're actually able to sound like an anime character when you're speaking Japanese, that is incredibly impressive. Because to sound like anime characters, people have to go to school. Like Japanese voice actors, I made a whole video on that, right? The audiobooks and voice acting. They train for it. They take it incredibly serious. They have amazing voices, awesome voice control. If you're actually able to sound like an anime character, then that is incredible. It's not like American reality TV shows. American reality TV shows, you're dealing with nut jobs. But if you sound like an anime character, then that means you sound like somebody who's a trained professional who has an awesome voice. You know what I'm saying? So if you can sound that clear, I feel like that's impressive.
なんだろうね。ちょっと話変わるかもしれないけど、なんか例えばさ、アニメとかでなんとかだとか言うじゃん。その文末に語尾とか。
Yeah.
にさ、それって別に必ずしもなんて言うんだろう、不自然とか変な感じはしない場合があるんだよ。
Yeah, that's such a tricky. Da specifically is so tricky because sometimes
そう、イントネーションとかさ、あとなんだろう、その場面によって普通に私もなんとかだとか、そのテキスト上でもなんとかだとか使うし、であるとか。なんか
Oh yeah, and then text is super common. In speech, it's like very situational. I don't even know
そうだね。あ
when.
とトーンでも違うし、なんか難しいね、これは。
Yeah, but I guess something that's correlated to this, which is the idea, it's just like I don't really think, and because this is what I think a lot of people think of is like that. It's so unrealistic to me to, for one, it's let's say even if you did hypothetically learn only using anime. Well, I feel like if you got enough variety in anime, it wouldn't be a problem, like I said in the video. But the other thing that I always think about is I don't think I've ever met anybody who's like, yes, I am only using one resource. I'm not using any other resource, and I will religiously stick to it. And it'll be the only Japanese I ever expose myself to. So it just seems like such an interesting thing to be fearful of when in reality, the variety is the spice of life. And I think most language learners aren't artificially restricting themselves to like one genre, one show, and then following the speech patterns of one person. Does that make sense? It's like when you're engaging with English, you're engaging in so many different things. And even if it's the same way like you watch Netflix, it's not like, right, you watch Netflix, right? So it's not like in Netflix they don't speak natural or like natural in the sense of like casual bedroom conversation English. They speak.
そうなのか。
Like, think about Joe, your favorite Joe Goldberg
Joe Goldberg.
From
You.
He speaks in an exaggerated, like, dramatic
それは違う。さ、その You はさ、マジでちょっと You 好きだからみんな見てほしいんだけど、ちょっと、あれさ、普通のコンバーセーションもあるんだけどさ、ちょっとなんていうのボイスオーバーっていうのかな的なのがまあ、ちょっとメインっちゃメインなのかな半分ぐらいは、ボイスオーバーなんだよ。なんか。
Yeah.
Voice over.
I'm talking about even when they're speaking. And this is something that's, so, for example, if you hear, I think you would realize this if you listen to a Japanese example, the difference between two people, like what we're doing right now, two people speaking on a podcast or Japanese people speaking in a movie versus two people speaking in real life in Japanese. Like imagine how you speak to your friends and then compare that to maybe how you, oh gosh, the examples in Japanese drama was so bad. I'm not sure if you saw.
でもジャパニーズドラマでもすんごい不自然だな、なんていうの
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, super. What was it?
ちょっと待って。
Yeah, go ahead.
事件現場とかさ、なんていうの、デテクティブみたいな感じのさ、ドラマとかはさ、なんか、こういう名義上で逮捕するとかさ、なんか絶対言わないじゃん。
Yeah, well, I had the bit I had in the video was, ゆいちゃん濡れちゃダメだよ。
それはやばいって。
それは
違う意味でやばいって。
his whole face was animated. ゆいちゃん濡れちゃダメだよ。
濡らしちゃダメだよじゃないの。濡れこ
れ
ちょっとダメ。
濡れちゃダメ。
これ R になっちゃうからダメよ。
Oh, no. No, it was in the rain. The scene was in the rain.
そっち濡れ。ダメだ、これ。そうね、日本のドラマでもさ、普通にあるじゃん。じゃあそれが同じなんだね。ドラマだとさ、やっぱり、もともと作家さんなのかななんかセリフを書く人がいて、そういう人たちってさ、なんていうの、こういうキャラクターたちがこういう会話をするだろうって想定しながら書いてんじゃん、多分。私は作家がどういう仕事をしてるかわかんないけど。で、
I learned a lot more about that actually because there's a strike going on in the US, the WGA. It's a Writers Guild of
待って聞いたことあるわ。なんかネットフリックスがなんかちょっとペインバードみたいな感じだよね。ネットフリックスっていうかそういうストリーム。
Oh, it's more complicated than that. But yeah, streamers is referred to leading to less money basically being generated by writers and actually other fields as well. But I want to hit some more questions. So there's another thing that, where is it here? Oh yeah, which is, that I didn't focus too much on, but I wanted to focus more on, which is because it's almost like the most important thing, and I don't think I emphasized it enough, which is something being enjoyable is an extremely huge positive, and I did give, I think, some statistics and research talking about the enjoyment of language learning. Specifically, I think I referenced the guidebook for learning or something developed at one of like this summit in like 2019, but something that I did not mention in the video was, I think there's one of the pivotal papers, or the one that's referenced very heavily from 2006 with anime research, talked about how it was like something like 70% of students learning Japanese were polled for like the reason they wanted to learn Japanese was tied to anime. Like 70%. Like
the
crazy
reason,
amount, which makes sense to me.
Which triggered them.
It was like a primary reason for them wanting to learn anime, basically. Wanting to learn Japanese.
アニメが見れるようになりたいから日本語勉強する。
No, not necessarily, but like their interest stemmed from anime. Does that make sense?
アニメ見てて、日本語すごいなみたいな。
Yeah. And it was something like 70%. And that is so, like, above any other reason that I go into in the video, it's so weird to me how stigmatized anime and language learning, or at least I feel it is, given how the majority of people are on the same page. But I think there's a minority of people who I don't even know where it comes from, because I don't think it comes from,
多分ね、
you know,
マイノリティはもちろん日本で働いてる人、その生活上必要な人でしょ、まず一つがそれで、もう一つは多分旅行で普通に気軽に日本来ますと。なんでやっぱりさ、アメリカだとかさ、まあ違う国でも日本ってやっぱりみんな来たいじゃん。来たい国ランキングでも、もう結構トップじゃん。 で、
Yeah.
そこで日本来ましたと。で、日本すごいなってなるじゃん。あ、道綺麗だし、人優しいしとか、電車がすごいしとか、いろいろシステムがね。で、あ、やっぱり日本もう一回来たいなとか、日本の文化に興味の持ったなっていう人が、始めるんじゃない？そのアニメから来てない人たちは。
Well, I mean, there's other sects. I actually think probably the vast majority don't go to Japan first, given how expensive it is. Like most tourism that's happening in Japan is a fairly recent thing. But I think now that I think about it a little more, is a lot of this criticism probably doesn't actually come from Japanese learners or at all. Now that I'm thinking about my experience, it most likely comes from other language learners or just people who haven't learned Japanese who like Japanese culture and think Japanese anime is not part of that or is somehow being disrespectful. So when people suggest that you can learn with it, even though they have no personal experience doing it and don't know what they're talking about, there's so many people, obviously the majority of Americans haven't learned Japanese or haven't started learning Japanese, but I think most Americans have a positive impression. So I think when you're saying that you're learning with anime, it just automatically gets you not taken seriously. And that's probably also because I think I talked about in the video that cartoons are generally seen as childish in the US. It's getting a little different nowadays, but still the
ス
vast
ポンジボ
majority
ブ
of
ってさ、結構大
cartoons.
人も見るんじゃないの？あれ、カートゥーン
I
じゃ
mean,
ん。あれ、カー
I
トゥ
mean,
ーン
its
でしょ？
primary audience is kids. Yes, its primary audience is kid, but it's not the same thing. Like when I was looking at the statistics in the video, 40-year-olds are the largest demographic of anime watchers in Japan, according to Kodansha, I think was the source.
なんか、
40-year-olds.
それもさ、なんて言うんだろう。アニメだとさ、結構、子供たちって、子供たちが見るアニメってさ、なんだろう、ある程度、内容が決まってるじゃん。なんか、ちょっとバカな、そのキャラクターの中でちょっとバカな子がいて、で、なんか、いろいろな、なんて言うんだろう。まあ、出来事が起こって、で、結果ハッピーエンドみたいな。でもなんか日本のアニメでさ、なんていうんだろう、大人の人が見るような感じなのはさ、結構ニーシュな感じだったりとか、あと、まあ、グロかったり、あとなんだろう、心に訴えるような感じの、そういうのって子供たちは見ないじゃん。でもそういうのがアニメの種類のジャンルの中であるからさ、大人の人にもとか、大人の人限定っていうか、子供は見ないじゃん、そういうの。だから、そういう意味で大人も見る気がする。
Well, I just think to me, that's like, what's the word? I don't say that's obvious in a critical way, but I'm saying is you wouldn't make such a surprising statement about television, right? You're like, it's almost as if television isn't just for kids. And to me, that's why, to me, it's so obvious that that's the case for anime. I was watching a presentation that I'll talk about in the middle section this week, and there's a translator who worked in Japan for 25 years, and he said an expression which I thought was really cool, which is, in Japan, manga is from cradle to grave, which is he's saying there are manga for, yeah, exactly, for literally when you're from the moment you're born all the way till you die. And I think anime is probably not as diverse as manga, but is very, very diverse in its as well.
Are you talking about manga? それともアニメ?
So that was manga I was talking about, but anime is also
それちょっと反撃じゃねえ、なんて言うんだ。ちょっと言葉忘れた。反抗していい？対抗していい？
反抗していい。対抗していい。
なんて言うとしたんだっけ？そう。それ、なんか、私の家は漫画読むなみたいな感じだったんだよ。だからそれは必ずしもみんなに当てはまるわけではないね。
No, it wasn't everybody. It was actually, it was specifically, I don't know about manga statistics, but the anime statistics were around I can't remember, it was like 60% or something of Japan plus. I can't remember right now, but it was a huge chunk. It was the majority. It was the majority, and within that majority, it was, what was it? Like the age 40 were the most. And then for manga, separate comment, manga is probably more common, like even for kids than I would say, at least from mine. There's a lot of educational manga. There's a lot of like manga targeted toward babies. As well as
ベイビー字読めない気がするけど。
I mean, you don't have to. It's like picture books. There's even
絵本類。
adult manga. There's even adult. Well, I'm talking about manga. There's even adult manga that don't have any words. There's one called like, oh, what is it? It's about a dinosaur who like does a bunch of stuff. It's like extremely detailed. I can't remember what it's called right now. I can show you later. But it's actually really, it's extremely detailed and like really. It's called Gon. Gon. I just remembered Gon, and it's no text, and it's just the manga about a dinosaur who just encounters a bunch of animals, and all the animals are drawn in exquisite detail. Yeah. But anyways, hold up. I want to. Oh, this was actually great. There was a comment that was talking about accessibility and how like blind accessibility, having subtitles in a given language for like people who have listening issues ends up being very helpful for learning other languages. And I feel like Japanese would. It's strange. I think we probably talked about this before. But how Japan has subtitles for everything except for anime. Like all the TV shows, all like YouTube, subtitles everywhere. But when it comes to anime, for some reason, there are just no subtitles.
Yeah.
Have we talked about that?
サブタイトルないやつもあるよ。
No, I said there aren't for anime. That's what I'm saying.
あ、じゃあないやつもあるじゃなくて間違えた。アニメの他にサブタイトルがないやつもあるよ。
Well, let's think. Weather, always subtitles, right? Like when they post them after the fact. Obviously, like in the morning. Actually, no, but even in the morning, I don't know how they do that. When I've seen like.
あれ同時じゃない同時になんかそういう仕事があるんだよ。めちゃめちゃもう聞きながら。
Oh, that's right. That's right. Obviously, they're reading. Oh, yeah. I'm being dumb. Yeah, it's not free speech. That makes sense. Yeah. And YouTube is always subtitles. Can we agree on that? YouTube's always subtitles.
いや、まあチャンネルによる。チャンネルによるけど、確かにサブタイトルがあった方ある、違う、なんていうの？そのトップ YouTuber は結構みんなサブタイトルあるかな。その方がみんな見たいなっては思ってると思う。
Yeah, and then hold up. There was one more. Ooh, what was it? I'm checking. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to address. I can't remember. I don't know if. Oh, what was it? There was. Oh, there was one mistake which I'll just mention now for the people watching the video because I didn't have it in. I didn't say it out loud, but I threw it in the description, and I also threw it in. Oh, actually, I remember the thing I wanted to say, which is. When is the best time to be using anime when you're deciding to learn Japanese? And this kind of depends on like exactly what resources you're using. And I do generally believe that as you get more and more fluent, you're able to interact with more like natural resources. But generally speaking, there are so many ways, especially with the resources that I list in the video, that you can find like resources where as long as you know hiragana or katakana or just have any basic understanding of like basic grammar, and I mean like even like just 3 chapters of Genki, then I feel like you can really use anime as a learning resource, especially because, as like I said, most people who learn Japanese are interested in anime, and it's very high engaging for a lot of people. Oddity actually commented. I'm not sure if you saw Oddity's. Did you see Oddity's comment about English? Okay. Yeah, Oddity talked about how for English, or sorry, well, 2 things. She talked about how Japanese, how anime was her main resource for learning, and how she really didn't see that as a problem at all. And then she talked about how English, the majority of her learning was also through like movies and as well as reading, she said, as on top of that as well. But that's actually somebody who, when I was making the video, I was thinking about when I was thinking about people who learn English perfectly fine, as well as you, obviously. I guess this, yeah, we've talked about your experience.
なんだろう。まあ今はもちろんなんていうの、なんていうの、アクティブに英語を学んでるわけじゃないからあれなんだけど、あと最近時間がないからだけど、最近はネットフリックスで見る時間なくて見てなくて、なんか読んでるニュースのアーティクルズとか見てる感じかな。あと調べるとき英語で調べてその結果を英語で読むみたいな。
Yeah, I mean.
YouTube とか。
What's it called? I will say that we've had many of our frequent commenters, including Oddity, say that your English is consistently improving over time.
あ、そうなの？
So,
本当に？
yeah, maybe
わ
you're
かんない。
not
グラマー
really,
は
yeah,
多
sorry,
分
sorry,
ね、
that's,
グラマーは逆にね、レベル下がってると思うよ。
well, why do you think it's just getting worse?
なんかね、
Just passing?
そこと、なんかやったんだよ、今学校でそういう、TOEIC っていうか、TOEFL かな忘れたけど、なんか、まあ、JOPT みたいな感じね、それのイングリッシュバージョンで、大学入った直後に、大学1年生の時に、それを、まあ、受けるわけね。で、
Yeah.
大学2年、大学3年、大学4年、5年。確か毎年か2年に1回か受けてんだよ。で、大学1年の時の方が、グラマーの点数が良かったの。なんでかっていうと、もう受験でさ、正しいグラマーを、まあ、学んでるわけじゃん。
I guess well, two things I would say is that if you probably took a test now, I probably think you'd score higher. But the second thing I would say is that your goal is probably not to sound like you have the English of someone who speaks the TOEIC test, if that makes sense.
まあ確かにね。どちらかというとカジュアルなレベル。
It's kind of like, I think you've seen JLPT like in one question before, right? Well, maybe at some point I've shown you some, or maybe some of the grammar, where you see grammar like, was it 従って or, what is it called? Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember some other specific. I know 従う might be even JLPT too, but 次第
なんとか次第、
like,
天気次第。
Yeah, なんとか次第. And if you use that in actual conversation, you can. It would just be very weird majority of time, right?
確かにちょっとフォーマル、でもカジュアルでも使うのかな。ちょっと、なんて言うんだろう、そういうさ、検定試験とかの日本語、英語っていうのは、すごい堅苦しい、フォーマルな感じがするじゃん。
Yeah.
確かにね、そうそう。だから私はアカデミックとか、フォーマルな感じの、英語は、レベルは下がってると思う。それ別に目指してるわけではないけど。
I think just with the pre-exposure you're getting, especially because you're understanding a lot of the exposure that you're probably internalizing, I've noticed messaging you back and forth that your English has gotten progressively less and less like grammatical issues. And it comes off more and more natural over time. Yes.
一つね、気づいたっていうか、これインプルーブしてるかなみたいな思ったのが、アメリカ行ったじゃん。で、アメリカでさ、もう結構あっちでもいろんなアクセントあるから、結構難しかったんだよ、リスニングするのが。黒人の人たちのイングリッシュって結構なんて言うんだろう。特徴的じゃん。で、早いし、なんて言うんだろう。アクセント的にも私は、なんて言うの？聞いたことないっていうか、まあ、全然慣れてない感じだったし、あといろんな国から来てる人たちもいたから、すんごい結構苦労したんだよ。で、それを1ヶ月間聞いて、日本帰ってきます。で、なんていうの、友達でさ、まあ、いろんな国の人がいるじゃん。友達は、まあ、ドイツとかね、あと他に、街中でも、いろんな人がいて、その英語を聞いてると。で、聞きやすくなったなっていうのは感じたね。なんか不思議だよね。別にあっちでドイツアクセントの、英語聞いてたわけじゃないけど、日本帰ってきて、なんか聞きやすくなったなみたいなのはすごい感じた。なんか不思議だよね。
I mean, I don't think it's that surprising because you've been getting a lot of different exposure. It's something I talked about in the anime video talking about called protein combining, which like I said, the idea that you have to eat multiple types of non-meat products to basically get the nutritions you need. Or I guess the fact that you need to overtly do that or should do that to get all your essential nutrients. But like in reality, all English you interact with or all food you eat, there's just so much nutrients everywhere that you'll most likely get your essential nutrients without really needing to worry about it. I feel like the same thing is true with language. As long as you're listening, you will get a lot of vocab.
面白くない？なんか考えてみるとさ、 全然一見、聞いた感じは全く違う English なんだけどさ、多分 core のどこかに同じ共通してるものがあるんだろうね。
I think that would be called the English language.
違う。なんて言うんだろう。
It's almost like they're speaking English.
違う。なんて言うんだろう。でも、例えばさ、日本人の英語って、まあ、人によってはすごい、なんていうの、日本語アクセントの人いるじゃん。I like なんとかかんとかとかさ。で、グラマーもめちゃめちゃな人もいるじゃん。でも多分それをある程度聞いてれば、なんとなく意味わかんないけど意味わかってくるみたいな、多分あると思うんだよ。面白くない？だってその
You actually have like a very interesting point, which is I wonder if you would, at an intermediate level of language learning, if you actually your listening will improve more if you listen to more heavily accented or harder to understand English. Or, I wonder, or any other language. I wonder if that's actually like a
す
benefit.
ごいよね。誰か研究してないかな、こういうの。なんか面白いなと思うんだよね。
I don't even know how you'd search that for it, but I could probably do it. I actually got advice as well as how to search for papers in Japanese, which I don't think I'll talk about in the middle section, but there's a specific site for it. So if I make references in the future in my main channel videos, then I'll tip my hat to a Japanese professor I was talking to. But yeah, make sure to check out the video if you haven't. I worked very, 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 very hard on it. And
ね、なんか
also
すごい
check out, actually, yeah, look at the resources or check out the articles as well. They're all very interesting. Some of the papers I was only able to get the abstracts to because they wanted me to pay $40 to access them, and you know your boy doesn't have money like that. You're like, so, but for the majority of them, you're able to get access to the full paper, not just like the conclusion. And so, as well as the resources, I also recommend checking out the papers.
なんかさ、コメントでさ、なんて言うんだろう。I appreciate all the efforts you put in this video. ね、quality video みたいな結構コメントが多かったから、ね。で、
Yeah,
ぜひ。
YouTube algorithm needs to pick it up. This is getting
そうだね。
ridiculous. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
戻りました。
We are back?
今週、スラムダンクの映画を見た。
Yay.
すごく楽しかった。スラムダンク何でしたっけ？日本語のタイトルは、ザファーストスラムダンク。覚えてるかな？
Yeah, that was like from
覚えてるかな？いや、まあ、12月か、2023年の1月。
Okay.
でも大事なことなのは、なぜ私は日本にいた時に見なかったのを覚えてるのかな？
What was the reason?
その映画館でスラムダンクを見ていたんだけど、なんていうか、ポスター見ていたんだけど、他の映画を見た。その映画を覚えてるの。
Oh, we watched Avatar.
そう。まあ、アバターも面白かったけど、スラムダンクと比べ物になれないかもしれない。でも、
Avatar is better.
アバターも面白かった。いや、
Avatar is
なんか
better.
まだ、
Avatar is
スラムダンク知らない人なら、スラムダンクは1993年のバスケの漫画と一応アニメあるんだけど、このザ・ファーストスラムダンクは前編見なくていい。原作見なくていい。このザ・ファーストは初めての人、まだ、そのスラムダンクについて何も知らなくても楽しめる映画。楽しめるというか、何も知らない人のために作られてる映画。リメイクって感じ。で、すごくなんか言葉にできないぐらい楽しかった。その映画館のなんかみんなはめっちゃ声出したり拍手していたり、そういうようななんていうかスポーツ大会の気持ちがマジでなんかすごかった。その映画を見ていたんだけど、その一つのチームは点を取ると、その他のなんか勝ちたくないチームが点を取るとみんながで、
勝ってほしくないチーム。
勝ってほしいチームは点を取ったら、みんなはなんか Yes! And then they're like Yeah! And thenそう。
So you watched it in Japanese or in English?
そう。日本語。英語の字幕あったけど、アメリカで見たから。
Well, that's better, because it would be worse if it was in if it
English?
was with the dub.
あ、いや、まあ、スラムダンクならある程度不自然じゃないかもしれないけど、一応、この映画のいいところは、まだ見てない人、それで全然なんか興味がないと思っている人なら、このスラムダンクのサッカーは、井上武宏井上でしたっけ、竹なんとか井上、で、このサッカーは、バガボンドというシリーズも作った。バガボンドをしているなら、多分興味を持つと。
is that the same out there? I didn't know that.
そう。バガボンド。また、この、サッカーは、初めて、この映画のために初めて監督になった。その、物語書いただけではなく、本当に、監督の役割も、やった。この映画を作るため。それ全部、井上が作ったから、すごくいい映画になったと思う。ぜひ、マジで、機会があれば見てください。
It's not related, but like, I know there's a Netflix series, One Piece?
So One Piece.
Yeah, and then people say it's really good, but so two people from my rotation team said that they didn't want to watch it in English. They want to like change it to Japanese because for Japanese dub, they use the actual voice actors for One Piece. So they said that it was much better watch it in Japanese dub.
アニメならその理論は通じると思うんだけど、本当に人間になるとは絶対納得できない。
Yeah, I don't know. I
その口の動き方は全然違うでしょ。
I can't tell if it's better or not.
いや、そういう話じゃなくて、口の動きは全然違う。
I don't know.
英語。
It might match the mouth movements.
Hello. いや、まあ。
I don't know.
という。
But you know, one of the characters is a Japanese actor, Makenyu, but he speaks English. But yeah, he is Japanese. Yeah.
なるほど。でも、ワンピースのキャラクターは全員日本人じゃない。なんか、ルフィはブラジル系らしい。で、ナミは絶対、キャラ、登場人物の名前知ってる？
ゾロ。
多分知らない。
サンジとかいなかったっけ？
そう、ゾロ。そう、サンジある。
And,
で、チョッパ
ー。なんだっけ？チョッパーじゃなくてなんだっけ？like the deer. チョッパー？Oh, yeah.
英語だとチョッパー。
Chopper.
Yeah. なんでワンピースしてるの？ちなみに。
I don't know. I just know names.
ワンピースならわかる。なるへそ。で、忘れてはいけないことは、スラムダンク見た方がいい。そのすね、忘れてはいけない。絶対見た方がいい。で、あいみは初めて初めてなの？こういう
Oh yeah. For the first time, I signed up for half marathon, which is in November 20. That was probably 22nd. No, 25th. Yeah, and it's it's the first time for me to challenge this half marathon. Actually, I've done
どれぐらい？
21 kilometers. I have done 20 kilometers by myself, but it was not official. It was just me running.
ハーフマラソンはそんなに長くない？11キロ？
No, 21. 21 is like a miles. Probably 16 or like, I don't know.
16 なの？
No, how long is it for full marathon?
26 is a marathon in miles.
Okay, then 13.
13?
Yeah.
な、長い。でも、
Yeah, but like,
できる程度。
so the thing is, I haven't run long distance since I came back to Japan, and like because I've been busy with rotation and I have an exam like this week. So the maximum distance I have done after I came back was probably like 5 to 7 kilometers, so that's not that long. So I have to train for the marathon competition. I don't know, marathon event. So if you guys have any tips for training, I would like to know. Please comment below or send us emails.
特に小国数。特
Oh
に
yeah,
小国
Shawcox.
数。
You run, right?
こういう
Shawcox.
ウルトラマラソン走るつもり。
Ultra is like, how long is it?
50マイル。
Ooh. 50 miles? Oh my god, what the fuck? It's like, wait, 80 kilo? Wait, what?
わかんない。多分。そう、
Oh
め
my
っちゃ
god.
でも、まだ走ってないかも。でも一応練習してると思う。
Wow. Yeah.
裸足で。
Are you a monk or something? I don't know.
そう。
Yeah. Well, yeah,
まあ、
so
があれ
like,
ば。
yeah, I should prepare for that. And I think I should buy new running shoes because the ones I'm wearing are kind of like torn. Like the cushion is kind of thin. So probably I have to buy another pair and
靴のおすすめも、まあ、ランニングシューズのおすすめもお願いし
recommendation
ます。
for yeah. I don't want to buy like super expensive
でも
shoes.
今回、小国じゃなくて、小国数は裸足で走ってるから。他の人ぜひおすすめしてください。
Yeah. That's funny. That's so funny. Yeah.
じゃあ、お願いします。
Mm-hmm.
And we're back with the final section. And if you made it to the final section, you should send an email to lazyfluency@gmail.com with the comment, question, language related and or otherwise. And this week we have a comment from Shawcox about our last episode on cultural stuff, although I guess we indirectly addressed a lot of comments from the main channel, but hey, go watch the main channel video. I'll keep pressuring you to do it. And the comment from Shawcox goes as follows. For a lot of this traditional culture stuff, I don't have any grasp on them at all. We're going to need a vocab list for this one so I can appropriately Google them. The only one of those I'm fully aware of is the music stuff. Western music fully took over Japan a long time ago, but I count that as Japanese music culture as well. They took the Western instruments and musical ideas pretty early on, but a lot of the musical choices grew parallel to the West instead of being completely overrun by the West, and it led them to still using Western tonal systems in a uniquely Japanese way. And I want the shamisen. It's a few $100s. I haven't found it myself to spend yet, and where I'm at right now, I might just spend the money on a pocket Miku synth. I read this comment earlier, and now I'm realizing exactly what he's referring to now. Also, I'm glad Ayumi knows exactly as much of the Sakura song as I know. It makes me feel less bad about my Sakura do boo 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 something names. I think you might have hit me right on the nose with the Takarazuka. Once I saw there was Anastasia, I was in. I probably won't find that one online, but it looks like there are a lot of pretty easy to watch on Bilibili. I mean, you seem to understand stuff I do not. Do you know? I can't remember what Sakura song was.
Okay. 桜の山のなんだらねえねえねえねえねえねえねえってやつだよ。私も歌詞忘れてる。なんかこととかで、よし、小学校の時に確かやらされたんだよ。桜。タイトルなんだっけ忘れちゃったな。桜だ。多分桜。多分。
Well, you know one word. The only traditional Japanese thing I know is from Chiayafuru is the beginning of the, was it Hyokki, the 100 poems thing? 何言わずに咲くやこの花、冬ごもり、今を春べと咲くやこの花。That's all I know because I heard it. You hear it every time when you're watching Chihayafuru.
ちはや
And
ふる
you get stuck in it. Chihayafuru. Yeah, Chihayafuru.
ちやは
and
やふる。ちはやふる。
what?
Yeah.
Chihayafuru.
Yeah.
Yeah. But aside from that, I don't really know. Let me think. Do I know any other? What's traditional Japanese? Oh, actually, before that, do you own any traditional Japanese instruments? I'm wondering. I don't think
I do. Do I own?
Or have you like played any? Like, did you learn to play any when you were? Like, I own a trombone technically, which I haven't played since who knows when.
Wait a sec.
三味線？
三味線？いや、琴は琴かな？そう、なんか琴でやらされた、そのさっきのやつね。あとなんだろう、日本の、リコーダーって日本じゃないもんね。カタカナの時点で違う。
Yeah, I remember the 江戸時代、リコーダ
ー。あ、なんだろう。カスタネットも違うでしょ？で、トライアングルも違うでしょ？
Oh, God.
あと、
I don't think that ever counts as an instrument that you're learning.
わかった。インストゥルメントじゃなくてさ、合唱とかは合唱コンクールのさ、コーラスっていうの。
But what were you singing though?
日本の歌だよ。
As in the さざれいし。
いや、そういう系じゃなくて、なんか合唱曲とかってあるんだよ。そうなんか定番、旅立ちの日にとかさ、定番なのは旅立ちの日にってやつで、卒業、そう。グラジュエーションでよく歌うんだけど、あれ最初初めなんだっけな。飛び立とう、未来信じて、はずまがい、力信じて、この広い、みたいなやつ。そう。
That sounds big. この広い、
この広い、この広い、この広い、大空に、ってやつ。懐かしいな。
Also, I vaguely remember what a pocket Miku like a synthesizer.
何 synthesizer
って何 It's for Miku, for Hatsune Miku. I can't, like, I'm not a producer, but I'm pretty sure it's something where you can, like, have access to a bunch of different Miku sounds. Like, a bunch, and the control, kind of like a DJ. なんか sort of. So you can get, well, with Miku's voice. So it'd be like, you know, saying like you can mess with the noise.
上がったり下がったり音程が。
Yeah. Well, no. That's just how Hatsune Miku, you know. If you heard the song, right? Because he just.
ポケットってことは何？ポッケに入れられるってこと？
I think it's smaller. It means it's smaller and you can
ポッケに入んないじゃん。
I don't think it actually fits in your pocket.
ポータブルってこと？だってポケット Wi-Fi っていうのはさ、ポケットに入るじゃん。
Well, that actually does hit. Also, I don't think it's called portable Wi-Fi in English, though. I think pocket Wi-Fi is a Japanese term. I remember. Also, do you know what Anastasia is? I looked it up and I have no clue. He said, I think you might have hit me right on the nose with Takarazuka. Once I saw there was an Anastasia, I was in. Literally no clue what that's supposed to be.
宝塚。わしディズニーのしか知らないよ、アナステージアは。
Oh, is it the movie?
ディズニーで、このアナステージア好きなんだよね。確かロシアとかじゃなかった。ロシアの、なんか王族かなんかで、ディズニーバージョンはね。で、なんか確かその話。この曲もすんごい好きなんだよね、アナステージア。ディズニーの。聞いてみて。
What's the song go like? You have a
すごい、忘れちゃったけど、これね、私のお父さんもね、好きなんだよね。なんか、そう、すごいいいから聞いてみて。宝塚は多分やってるんじゃない？結構、西洋のやつとかもやってるし、宝塚の公演でね。だから、多分そうだと思うよ。で、ショコクスは宝塚を見たってことよね、これ。
I think you might have hit me around the nose with Takarazuka. Once I saw there was I don't know. But he also knows, I can't read, but then he starts by saying he doesn't have a grasp on it at all. So I'm actually not entirely sure how to read his influence, understanding of and I also wonder with the Western music, so you're referring to like the production of songs with traditional instruments being Western? Or are you saying that like the compositions of Japanese musicians with pianos and other, I don't know, more Western instruments are...
今のあれじゃない、ポップミュージックとかのことじゃない？だってなんていうの、バンドとかだったら絶対さ、ギター、ドラム、なんだらこうだらとか、あとオーケストラだってさ、ねえ、いろんな楽器が。
That's actually super interesting. Why? I feel like there's an opportunity to have a like more non-traditional, or no, not non-traditional. It's incorrect. More traditional instruments, Japanese instruments in music.
あ、普通にそういうグループはあるよ。例えば太鼓。なんだっけ？
I mean, not taiko's drums. Drums are drums. You know?
違う。和太鼓っていうの。和太鼓っていうの、こういうやつ。こういうやつ。わしもやったことあるんだよ。あ、太鼓プレイしたことある。そういえば。オンはしてないけど。夏祭りにこういうやつで、こういうやつ。お祭りでよく見るやつ。
Why are you circling? What is this circling motion?
だから、太鼓が、なんていうの？叩く面が、地面と垂直になってんの。こう。で、なんていうの？太鼓の面、筒みたいなのがあって、こうなってるわけだから、ここを叩くわけよ。で、
No, but why are you doing this? Wait. Oh, you're sliding it?
これ力入れてんの、こうやって。まあ、こう、なんていうの、水平面になってる太鼓もあるけど、和太鼓ね。でも、こうかな。私がやったのはこうだな。で、何を落としたんだっけ？そう、なんか、ジャパニーズのパフォーマーで結構世界でも確か有名な気がする。なんか、太鼓パフォーマー、なんだっけな、なんか、忍者みたいな、格好してたかな？忘れたけど、忍者じゃないな。和っぽい服を着て、太鼓でパフォーマンスするみたいなグループとかもあるし。
I'm referring to something like the shamisen.
三味線もあるよ。三味線、その太鼓のグループが三味線もやってるの、確か。なんか、結構
Like, you're saying we have a pop song and they're dropping in the shamisen?
ポッ
That's I'm saying, that's what I'm talking about. There's an opportunity here. I think they probably have listened to some songs.
だけど、なんていうの？彼らが演奏する曲の中にポップのソングはあるんじゃない？
Actually, I have a question. Do you know if there's any brass or like that kind of instrument? What are they called? Percussion? No, not percussion.
Percussion.
Like like trumpets, anything like that. Are there traditional like
尺八とか。笛。
Yeah, 尺八. I forgot. Yeah.
笛とかね。笛も多分日本のやつよね。尺八とかさ。なんだ、トランペット系なのはない気がするね。笛か。笛だ。
Well, if I had to play one, I mean, taiko is easy. You know what I'm saying? If I really don't want to learn something, I do like the idea of me like playing a shamisen to like before the opening of some Nakugo performance. Because I always imagine women doing it, but if it's just like a random half Panamanian dude playing the, like, you know what I'm saying? They're in the back and you can see them doing it. Dun, dun, dun. Like, what is that guy doing over there? I feel like that'd be a funny reaction. That bell means we reached the end of today's episode. Thanks for joining us in another lazy conversation towards fluency. If you have any language-related questions and are just looking for general advice, send an email to lazyfluency@gmail.com and we might respond in the next episode. Also, make sure to check out our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more. We'd appreciate the support. This has been Joey.
And Ayami.
Signing off.
じゃあね。
じゃあね。